ambition and content mark Akenside while yet the world was young, and men were few, nor lurking fraud, nor tyrant rapine knew, in virtue rude, the gaudy arts they scorned, which, virtue lost, degenerate times adorned, no sumptuous fabrics yet were seen to rise, nor gushing fountains taught to invade the skies. With nature, art had not begun the strife, nor swelling marble rose to mimic life. No pencil yet had learned to express the fair. The bounteous earth was all their homely care. Then did content exert her genial sway, and taught the peaceful world her power to obey. Content, a female of celestial race, bright and complete in each celestial grace. Serenely fair she was, as rising day, and brighter than the sun's meridian ray. Joy of all hearts, delight of every eye, nor grief, nor pain appeared when she was by. Her presence from the wretched banished care, dispersed the swelling sigh, and stopped the falling tear. Long did the nymph her regal state maintain, as long mankind were blessed beneath her reign. Till dire ambition, hellish fiend, arose, to plague the world, and banish man's repose. A monster sprung from that rebellious crew, which mighty Jove's flagrant thunder slew. Resolved to dispossess the royal fair, on all her friends he threatened open war, fond of the novelty, vain, fickle man, in crowds to his infernal standard ran. And the weak maid, defenseless left alone, to avoid his rage, was worked to quit the throne. It chanced as wandering through the fields she strayed, forsook of all, and destitute of aid, upon a rising mountain's flowery side a pleasant cottage, roofed with turf, she spied, fast by a gloomy, venerable wood of shady planes, and ancient oaks, it stood. Around a various prospect charmed the sight. Here waving harvests clad the fields with white. Here a rough shaggy rock the clouds did pierce, from which a torrent rushed with rapid force. Here mountain woods diffused a dusky shade. Here flocks and herds in flowery valleys played, while o'er the matted grass the liquid crystal strayed. In the sweet place there dwelt a cheerful pair, though bent beneath the weight of many a year, who wisely flying public noise and strife, in this obscure retreat had passed their life. The husband's industry was called frugality, the wife with tenderest friendship mutually blessed, no household jars had e'er disturbed their rest. A numerous offspring cracked their homely board, that still with nature's simple gifts was stirred. The father rural business only knew. The sons the same delightful art pursue, an only daughter, as a goddess fair, above the rest was the fond mother's care. Plenty, the brightest nymph of all the plain, each heart's delight, adored by every swain. Soon as content this charming scene was spied, joyful within herself the goddess cried, Ampersand quo! This happy sight my drooping heart doth raise. The gods, I hope, will grant me gentler days, when with prosperity my life was blessed. In yonder house I've been a welcome guest, there now, perhaps, I may protection find. For royalty is banished from my mind. I'll thither haste, how happy should I be, if such a refuge were reserved for me. Ampersand quo! Thus spoke the fair, and straight she bent her way to the tall mountain, where the cottage lay. Arrived she makes her changed condition known, tells how the rebels drove her from the throne, what painful, dreary wilds she'd wandered o'er, and shelter from the tyrant doth implore. The faithful, aged pair at once were seized with joy and grief, at once were pained and pleased. Grief for their banished queen their hearts possessed, and joy succeeded for their future guest. Ampersand quo! And if you'll deign, bright goddess, here to dwell, and with your presence grace our humble cell, whate'er the gods have given with bounteous hand, our harvests, fields and flocks, are all command. Ampersand quo! Meantime, ambition, on his rival's flight, sole lord of man, attained his wishes' height. Of all dependence on his subjects eased, he ragged without a curb, and did whate'er he pleased, as some wild flame, driven on by furious winds, widespreads destruction, nor resistance finds. So rushed the fiend destructive o'er the plain, defact the laborers of the industrious swain, polluted every stream with human gore, and scattered plagues and death from shore to shore. Great Jove beheld it from the Olympian towers, where sate assembled all the heavenly powers. Then with a nod that shook the empyrean throne, thus the Saturnian thunderer begun, Ampersand quo! You see, immortal inmates of the skies, how this vile wretch almighty power defies. His daring crimes, the blood which he has spilt, demand atonement equal to his guilt. Then, Cyprian goddess, let thy mighty boy swift to the tyrant's guilty palace fly. There let him choose his sharpest, hottest dart, and with his former rival wound his heart. And thou, my son, the god to Hermes said, snatch up thy wand, and plume thy heels and head. Dart through the yielding air with all thy force, and down to Pluto's realms direct thy course. There rouse oblivion from her sable cave, where dull she sits by Lethe's sluggish wave. Command her to secure the sacred bound, where lives content returred, and all around diffuse the deepest glooms of Stygian night, and screen the virgin from the tyrant's sight, that the vain purpose of his life may try still to explore, what still eludes his eye. Amperson quo. He spoke. Loud praises shake the bright abode, and all applaud the justice of the god.